Consider for a moment that the individual whose absence you grieve, the spirit you believe has vanished forever, is in fact here with you as you engage with these words. I understand how this concept might resonate with you. I know your rational thoughts could quickly categorize it as mere hope or an ethereal vision. But what if I were able to demonstrate, drawing upon the meticulously recorded insights of Edgar Cayce, recognized as the most profound clairvoyant in history, that departure is simply a transition, like moving from one chamber to another? And what if I could unveil 7 clear indications that those you've lost are not only near you, but are actively striving to reach out to you in this very moment? Our exploration starts now. Allow me to begin by sharing an experience from 3 years ago, an event that fundamentally altered my understanding of transition, sorrow, and the unseen realm that encompasses us daily. Half a year had passed since my grandmother's departure, and the grief I carried was profound. Perhaps you understand that particular feeling, don't you? That hollow space deep within your soul, as though a part of your essence has been broken off. The abrupt dimming of the world's vividness, its life force, its feeling of closeness. As I sorted through her personal belongings, I discovered a bundle of letters previously unknown to me. Notes she had written to her own mother after her mother had passed away. In one of these, bearing the year 1952, lay a section that completely captivated me. I know you might think I'm not entirely rational, she'd penned, but mother comes to me, not just when I'm asleep, but during my waking hours. She tidies objects in the kitchen. She turns on the wireless to broadcast our particular melody. Only yesterday, her distinct scent surrounded me so powerfully that I instinctively turned, expecting to find her there. A specific correspondence sparked a profound personal journey within me, fundamentally altering my perception of reality, as I gradually recognized that my grandmother was not fabricating these occurrences, nor was she simply imagining them. She was, instead, genuinely experiencing exactly what Edgar Cayce had carefully documented across numerous decades: the genuine, discernible, and confirmable ways our loved ones, after their passing, continue to connect with our world. For over 4 decades, Cayce offered deep understanding through his readings to countless individuals, grappling with the profound sorrow of losing cherished bonds. And with every subsequent session, he unveiled a profound truth, largely overlooked by mainstream society: that the transition of passing does not bring a relationship to an end. Instead, it transforms its nature. This marked his foundational, deeply impactful understanding. However, prior to exploring those 7 indicators alongside you, clues that might shed light on events in your own existence, I first need to share Edgar Cayce's insights concerning the foundational nature of awareness itself. It was in the year 1931 when a woman sought out Cayce, profoundly saddened by her spouse's unexpected passing. Her one wish was to learn of his current condition, whether he was at peace, or indeed, if he still existed. Once Cayce entered his meditative state, the revelations he provided transcended mere comforting words. They constituted a deep unveiling. He explained that our consciousness, the very essence of who we are, cannot be destroyed. Rather, it undergoes a fundamental change in its form or state. Just as water transforms into vapor, the soul simply transitions from one plane of existence to another. This particular concept was one that deeply resonated with me. Edgar Cayce also shared that soon after passing on, spirits often remain in close proximity to the physical realm, especially near the individuals they held dearest. This doesn't stem from any limitation or inability to advance, but instead from the understanding that love, in its essence, forms a powerful energy capable of transcending the confines of physical ending. This intrinsic energy continuously seeks expression, connection, and pathways to comfort and guide individuals remaining in the physical world. What we are discussing goes beyond simple, captivating spiritual poetry. Cayce maintained that this truly mirrors the fundamental operations of the universe itself. Moreover, if you learn how to observe correctly, if you come to understand the distinct language used by spirits who have crossed over to transmit their communications, you will then start to notice their existence all around you. The fascination deepens considerably. Edgar Cayce's insights into consciousness beyond mortal life. At this point, the story truly becomes compelling. Cayce disclosed that those spirits who have departed interact with us through what he referred to as the 7 conduits of connection. These occurrences are not random. They are far from simple chance events. Instead, recognize them as deliberate efforts from those you hold dear, reaching across boundaries to confirm their lasting connection with you. Yet, this is where the challenge emerges. So many of us have grown accustomed to dismissing such signals, viewing them as mere flights of fancy, or as illusions born of sadness, or simply tricks played by our own perceptions. We've been taught to believe that anything beyond the measurement of scientific instruments carries a doubtful claim to existence. This, Cayce described as the deep misfortune inherent in a worldview focused solely on material things. He explained that by closing our hearts and minds to the possibility of continuous interaction, we are doing more than just giving up comfort. We are, in fact, relinquishing the enduring connections with the people who mean the most to us. I invite you to reflect on this understanding. Imagine if a cherished individual who has passed away has been striving to make contact with you for many months, even years, yet you consistently dismiss every symbol, every meaningful coincidence, every instance where you sense their presence. What if they are truly here, standing right beside you, sending a multitude of messages, but your mind remains closed to them, simply because you don't quite believe that such communication is possible? Should you have ever had a moment, however brief, where you felt the presence of a departed individual, as if they were still with you in some fashion, I invite you to embrace that sensation, for the insights I'm about to share might profoundly reshape how you interpret those very experiences. Our first indication: the 3 a.m. awakening, often called the subtle hours. This initial clue manifests as an awakening. Allow me to unveil this first delicate sign, and I encourage you to listen with close attention, as this particular phenomenon might have happened to you very recently. According to Edgar Cayce, a primary way spirits communicate is by gently waking us during what he called the thin hours. This usually happens between 2 and 4 a.m., differing significantly from the sudden anxious awakening caused by stress or worry. This specific kind of experience is unique. It's a tender, gradual stirring that brings you to consciousness, leaving you feeling alert and aware, as if your name had just been softly whispered. Cayce explained that in these early morning hours, the boundary between various realms becomes exceptionally permeable. During these moments, our logical, critical thoughts lessen, and our emotions are receptive, simplifying connections from those we cherish. However, as Cayce emphasized, the vital point is that such occurrences do not provoke fear or unease. Instead, they bring a deep sense of solace. Often, there's an awareness of someone else in a space, a sensation of companionship even without any visible presence. I can recount my own experience with this phenomenon not long after my grandmother had passed. My eyes opened precisely at 3:17 in the morning, a moment I later learned was her customary time for daily prayers. A remarkable tranquility enveloped me, and I distinctly remember the aroma of her coffee gently brewing from the kitchen. Upon investigation, naturally, nothing was amiss. Yet, the sensation, that specific feeling, was profoundly real. Subsequently, reviewing Cayce's writings on this subject revealed that souls who have moved on frequently visit during these tranquil times because our active, questioning intellect poses less resistance. Their intention isn't to frighten, it's to provide solace, to communicate their well-being, and to underscore that love continues beyond physical life. The second indication, the messenger, specifically involves animals. The second documented indication, known as the patu, involves birds, butterflies, and even our domestic companions serving as channels. Edgar Cayce meticulously chronicled another profound indication, revealing itself when animals, particularly birds, delicate butterflies, and our own companion pets, display actions beyond their typical patterns, appearing to transmit messages from the spiritual domain. Cayce explained that non-physical spirits possess a significantly greater facility for influencing animal conduct than they do for affecting inanimate objects. Living creatures inherently hold an elevated sensitivity to spiritual energies, exhibiting a deeper openness to the subtle dimensions that surround our existence. Throughout many of his documented readings, Cayce described specific occurrences. A vibrant cardinal repeatedly visiting a window every morning after a mother's passing, a delicate butterfly softly landing upon a shoulder on the commemoration of a loved one's departure, or a formerly reserved feline unexpectedly seeking proximity to an individual undergoing a period of grief. Cayce, however, highlighted that the critical factors are not just the events themselves, but their exact moment and the deep feelings they stir within us. Such occurrences are far from accidental meetings with nature. Instead, they manifest when your mind is deeply focused on someone you've lost during periods of profound grief, or when you're most earnestly seeking guidance. Let us recall the account of Sarah, documented by Cayce in the year 1936. Her young child had tragically died in an unfortunate incident, leaving her overwhelmed by profound feelings of blame and sorrow. Just 3 days after the remembrance ceremony, a small robin began to visit her kitchen window every single morning. This was no common bird. It would delicately tap the glass until she noticed it, then linger on its perch, appearing to look directly into her eyes for a few moments before flying away. When she later sought a consultation with Cayce, he revealed that her son was using this little bird as a vessel to deliver a steadfast message. "I am well, Mother. I am still here with you. Please do not hold yourself responsible." Cayce gently clarified that the tapping was her son's particular way of communicating, a silent plea saying, "Please notice me. I am reaching out to you." Approximately 3 months later, Sarah confided in Cayce, describing how a small red-breasted bird had visited her daily. Right up until the morning, a profound sense of peace enveloped her heart concerning her son's passing. On that particular day, the robin came to her window for the final time, as if offering a tender farewell, and then gracefully flew off, vanishing from sight forever. I now encourage you to softly reflect on your own personal journey for just a little while. Since your beloved one's departure, have you perhaps noticed any unusual animal encounters? Perhaps a bird that appears precisely at a significant moment, or a butterfly that softly settles upon you just as memories of them gently surface. Have your treasured household companions shown any behaviors that are quite out of the ordinary? Please feel comfortable sharing your own story in the comments below. For this is a truth I have come to realize. As we start to openly discuss these experiences, letting go of the worry that others might view us as illogical, something truly remarkable begins to emerge. We then understand that we are not traveling this path alone. It becomes clear that these signs possess a deep authenticity. They are common and are being encountered by people all around the world. Feel free to express appreciation for the comments that resonate most deeply with you. Let us extend mutual support within the shared understanding, for by acknowledging each other's journeys, we gently pave a clearer way for our departed loved ones to reach out and connect. Should you not yet be a part of our community, I warmly invite you to become a member. We are nurturing an environment for those who recognize that the physical ending does not mean the end of love, and your presence within this space is profoundly cherished. Now, let us gently transition to our third gentle indication. Familiar aromas, often known as their unique essence. The third sign, a sense of the familiar, which Edgar Cayce chronicled, is one that nearly every person who has grieved a loss can recognize. This is the spontaneous, unmistakable fragrance of your loved one, emerging from seemingly nowhere. Cayce elaborated that our sense of smell serves as one of the most immediate avenues for spiritual contact, precisely because it circumvents our logical thought processes and connects directly with our emotional recollections. When a soul that has departed wishes to convey its presence, orchestrating the air molecules in your vicinity to carry their distinctive fragrance stands as one of the most potent techniques. This is not merely perceiving something akin to what they once wore. Rather, it involves detecting their precise perfume in a space where no one has applied any fragrance. Imagine the scent of their favored pipe tobacco, even in a house where no one smokes. Or perhaps their cherished flowers blooming vividly amidst the cold of winter. Or the comforting aroma of their special cooking filling a kitchen where no meal has been prepared. Edgar Cayce himself underscored these particular occurrences with remarkable clarity. These unique fragrances emerge quite suddenly, linger only for a short while, and then completely fade away. Moreover, their presence often aligns perfectly with times when you are seeking comfort, when your thoughts are centered on them, or on special anniversaries and dates that held profound meaning in your shared life. A particular consultation Cayce held for a man whose wife had passed away from cancer remains vividly in my memory. This gentleman possessed a naturally skeptical mind, an engineer whose beliefs were anchored firmly in whatever could be measured and proven. However, approximately 6 weeks after his wife's memorial service, while he was seated in his living room, the unmistakable fragrance of her lavender perfume gently filled the room. He meticulously searched his entire residence, discovering no perfume bottles, no room fresheners, and no rational explanation. When he approached Cayce, yearning for understanding, Cayce conveyed a message that moved him to profound tears. Your beloved partner wishes for you to understand that her suffering has ceased. The presence of lavender serves as her gentle message, conveying that she has discovered tranquility, and her hope is for you to also embrace inner calm. Moving on to sign 4, technological and electrical phenomena. Perhaps among the most intriguing indicators documented by Cayce are what he referred to as electrical sympathies. This involves the subtle ways in which souls who have departed can influence electronic devices and modern technology. It's important to remember that Cayce delivered these insights in the 1920s and 30s, long before the widespread adoption of televisions, personal computers, or mobile phones in most households. Nonetheless, he frequently explained how the spirits of those who had passed on retained the power to influence electrical flows, leading to radios emitting tunes, holding deep personal resonance, lamps casting intermittent glows in specific sequences, or even phones sounding without an active individual initiating the call. Cayce put forth the idea that awareness itself functions as a type of electrical force, and when a person moves on from this world, they do not forfeit their natural aptitude for engaging with electrical fields. In fact, his notion was that they actually grow even more sensitive to these energies. A spirit that has journeyed beyond can channel its own energy, instigating precise electrical responses designed to communicate a particular message. The essential factor, Cayce maintained, rested in recognizing the underlying sequence and the precise moment these events unfold. Imagine moments when a cherished tune, once beloved by someone no longer with us, spontaneously starts playing from a radio you haven't turned on. Or perhaps lights might gently flicker in the very space where you're feeling a deep sense of longing for their presence. Or your mobile device could show their familiar number appearing as an incoming call, despite that line having been inactive for some time. These occurrences are not simply coincidences. Rather, they are meaningful forms of communication. Our 5th sign is about dreams that feel more real than our waking life, or a profound synchronicity of experience. Cayce considered this particular sign to be the most direct connection available for interaction between our current reality and the spiritual dimension. These are experiences known as visitation dreams, possessing a clarity and sense of reality that can even exceed our daily waking perceptions. Cayce carefully distinguished between the common dreams we have about those we miss and what he specifically identified as genuine visitation dreams. Ordinary dreams, he explained, are often products of our subconscious mind, working through the feelings of grief and our memories. Nonetheless, genuine visitation dreams represent actual meetings that unfold within what he described as the borderland, a dimension situated between the physical and spiritual planes, where authentic connection becomes attainable. How then can one discern the difference? Cayce meticulously detailed specific attributes that signal true visitation dreams. Firstly, they possess an intensity and a solidity far beyond any other dream you've ever encountered. Colors gleam with enhanced brilliance. Feelings resonate with greater depth. Every aspect is strikingly crisp, and your memory of them remains perfectly intact when you awaken. Secondly, the departed loved one appears healthy, whole, and frequently younger than at the moment of their passing. They display no indicators of trouble or uneasiness. Instead, they exude calmness and tenderness. Thirdly, they often communicate precise information that you would have had no prior way of knowing. Perhaps they might reveal the whereabouts of something they once hid, or transmit a message intended for another family member, or disclose a detail about their transition that brings you deep comfort. And the fourth point, this is truly vital. You awaken feeling profoundly at ease, rather than troubled. One often senses having truly shared moments with these individuals, experiencing a sincere dialogue, a heartfelt reconnection. Edgar Cayce meticulously recorded numerous accounts of these dream encounters, consistently noting a recurring pattern. Souls who have passed on utilize the dream state to engage in prolonged exchanges with those they cherish, as our logical faculties are unable to obstruct this interaction. Moving to the sixth indicator, recurring numbers and significant occurrences. This particular sign encompasses what Cayce termed numerical communications, referring to how spirits from the other side can arrange meaningful chance events and repeated numerical sequences to draw our attention. You might begin to notice numbers connected to their birth date appearing with regularity, perhaps on time displays, vehicle identification plates, or even your shopping documentation. It's also possible you will encounter the anniversary of their passing repeatedly in unexpected places. Furthermore, you could discover specific musical pieces playing, particular individuals reaching out by phone, or distinct situations unfolding on dates that held profound significance within your shared past. Edgar Cayce explained that spirits who have departed retain the capacity to influence what he termed the tapestry of synchronicity, those unseen connections between happenings that seem to lack any direct relation. Should you consistently observe these identical numerical patterns, or if meaningful coincidences accumulate in a way that truly challenges statistical probability, understand that your cherished loved one is orchestrating these events to communicate their continued awareness of your journey through life. Let us now turn our attention to the seventh indication, the perception of presence, understood as the foremost signal. Yet, the seventh and most profound sign, documented by Edgar Cayce, also holds the most delicate nature, an unmistakable inner knowing that your cherished one is truly beside you, even when their physical form remains beyond your sight or hearing. Cayce described this profound occurrence as the communion of hearts. He illuminated how affection creates an energetic thread that the journey of transition cannot sever. Occasionally, this spiritual bond strengthens to such a degree that you can genuinely sense the proximity of your loved one as vividly as if they were physically right there with you. This encounter does not spring from simple imagination, nor is it merely a hopeful longing. Cayce asserted that this is your very own soul acknowledging the distinctive energetic signature of someone who holds deep affection for you. It signifies a soul choosing to draw close to you precisely at the moment your need for them is most profound. It might appear when you encounter a difficult decision and a sudden current of affection and guidance flows through you. Alternatively, it could surface during periods of sadness as you perceive invisible arms holding you close. It may also emerge when celebrating a meaningful occasion and you perceive their happy involvement right there with you. Edgar Cayce expressed this with absolute certainty. When you discern the closeness of your beloved who have passed on, trust in that perception. Do not dismiss it or attempt to rationalize it using mere reason. They are genuinely here. They stand beside you. They are conveying to you that affection transcends mere departure, and your bond with them endures in a manner that reaches beyond the material world. This unveils a deeper understanding, cultivating bonds beyond the veil. Now, let us explore a profound insight Edgar Cayce comprehended, one that frequently escapes numerous individuals. These clear signs are not simply random assurances dispatched from the spiritual domain. Instead, they constitute a fundamental part of a greater design. A deep insight into awareness and love now exists, profoundly altering our view. Cayce's wisdom tells us that when a beloved individual passes, we don't just feel their void. Instead, we gain access to a different way of connecting with them. Their being is no longer bound by a physical body, earthly time, or spatial limits. They can be present with the many individuals simultaneously. They can influence events across great distances, offering guidance and protection impossible during their physical lives. However, a vital condition exists. This enduring connection depends on our openness. Should we choose to become withdrawn, dismissing what might be possible, explaining away every subtle sign, and overlooking every significant synchronicity, we effectively break the very tie that could transform our sadness into something deeply meaningful and beautiful. Cayce often shared the thought that those who have passed on need our belief in their continued existence almost as deeply as we long to perceive it ourselves. By acknowledging the messages they convey, by communicating with them, and by weaving them into our daily lives, we fortify the connection spanning different dimensions. This process makes it easier for them to connect with us and heightens our ability to receive their love and insights. This viewpoint neither invalidates the normal experience of sorrow, nor does it suggest an absence of yearning for their physical presence. Instead, it conveys that the connection you share with them continues unbroken. Rather, it shifts, evolving into a bond of profounder meaning, a more ethereal essence capable, indeed, of growing stronger as years unfold. Pause to reflect on this intimate thought for a while. Envision a scenario where every cherished soul you've bid farewell to remains within your reach. What if they continue to safeguard you, fostering your contentment, still yearning to partake in your life's path? What if that inner knowing you sometimes encounter, the sense of not being alone, of having someone protecting you, isn't just a hopeful dream? What if it embodies the deepest reality of your being? And what if, by welcoming these signs into your heart, by listening to these messages, and by believing in the unending essence of affection, you could transform your grief from a force that lessens your spirit into one that enlarges it? This truly was Edgar Cayce's gift to humanity. Beyond merely confirming that awareness continues after the body's end, it served as a pathway for upholding tender bonds across the invisible boundary. It revealed a process to stay close to the people who matter most, even once their physical presence has vanished. If you have recognized any such indications in your personal journey, or if you've been perceiving communications from a cherished soul who has moved on, I invite you to consider a particular step. Begin by acknowledging these transmissions. Address your dear one verbally. Express your appreciation for the manifestations. Encourage them to let their presence be known when you are in search of comfort. And I ask that you recount your experiences in the comments below. Detail the indications that have come to you. Offer your thanks to the accounts that truly connect with your own feelings. When we come together to share these profound understandings, and when we acknowledge each other's bonds with the spiritual dimension, we cultivate a setting that makes it easier for all of us to stay open to the love that endures forever. As our time together draws to a close, consider this idea. The event of a loved one's passing does not mark the end of your shared path. It doesn't even represent the turning of a final page. Instead, it signifies a gentle transformation, a movement into an altered way of being together. Those dear souls who have transitioned haven't truly departed from your presence. They have been striving to communicate this reality to you using a distinctive language of faint signals and purposeful alignments. Through soft feelings of their closeness and moments of deep communion that your heart comprehends without words, even if your logical thoughts might entertain uncertainty. The fundamental question isn't truly about whether they are still present with you. Instead, the central query revolves around your readiness to grant yourself permission to accept this truth. Can you open your deepest being to a love that extends far beyond the mere physical act of leaving? Are you willing to trust that the connections you built over your lifetime hold enough power to endure all things, even that transition we call passing away? For in this very instant, as you listen to these phrases, those cherished individuals you yearn for have not disappeared. They have simply undergone a transformation. Their existence continues in a guise that remains beyond the reach of your physical perception. Nevertheless, their presence is felt. They are fully cognizant of your existence. They are conveying to you soft affirmations of their boundless love and their continuous companionship. Your grandmother, who tenderly taught you the craft of baking. Your father, who proudly led you down the aisle. Your child, whose journey with you concluded too soon. Your partner, who vowed their affection eternally. Your closest companion, privy to all your innermost secrets. They are each still upholding their pledges of love for you. They remain an inherent piece of your life's unfolding narrative. The sole difference rests in the way you now engage with them. And now, you hold the perception to understand this deep bond. You are familiar with the 7 specific indications. You grasp the silent language of devotion that gracefully extends beyond the act of physical departure. Therefore, tonight, as you settle into slumber, convey to them that you recognize their existence. Express your thankfulness for any signals you may have missed before. Ask them to help you sense their proximity with heightened clarity, and embrace the steadfast certainty that authentic love never truly vanishes. It simply shifts, becoming something even more beautiful than you previously knew. Departure is not life's opposite. It is simply the ongoing expression of life itself. Fundamentally, love knows no boundaries. I appreciate you joining me on this reflective journey. Should these thoughts ignite a feeling of renewed possibility within you, kindly extend them to anyone who might find comfort in realizing they navigate their grief with company. Do consider becoming a subscriber if you desire to explore deeper into the mysteries of awareness and enduring bonds. And always bear in mind, the affection you long for resides much nearer than you may conceive. Until our paths cross again, stay open to subtle indications. Nurture your bond with love and grasp that those you appear to have parted with are never truly gone. They are simply extending their love to you from a dimension you cannot yet physically apprehend.